you don't last. Our first guest has been a winner for a long time. He just finished up his 15th season as the manager of the LA Dodgers. Baseball's goodwill ambassador, Mr. Tommy Lasorda. What's happening? All right.
Feels good, huh?
Very good.
Hey, man, hey. Mama didn't raise no food.
I'll tell you one thing, you got a job after you're through playing.
Yeah, really. I want a job like yours. 43, 42 years with the Dodger organization. It got to give you some sense of pride.
I'm the luckiest man in the world to be able to work for the greatest organization in baseball and then to be the manager of the Dodgers. I'm telling you, I can't believe it. It's just outstanding, and I'm very, very proud. It's a privilege and an honor to be a manager for the Dodgers, and for 15 years. I remember when I got the job, the guy interviewed me. He said, Tommy, you're replacing a man that's been there for 23 years. He said, do you hope to match that record? I said, buddy, all I want to do is live 23 more years.
Let me tell you the kind of clout he has. You know, President Bush was in New York this week. He's down the street, calls up the Secret Service and says, tell the president I'm here. Boom. You had an audience just like that.
Great.
True story?
It was very true. I was with Rocco Maselli, who has a jewelry store across from the Waldorf, and my friend Charlie Camella. And I said if he knew that I was across the street and didn't try to get to see him, I think he'd felt bad about that.
The president would.
Well, he's a good friend of mine. He's a very, very good friend.
I wanted to ask you about Darryl Strawberry.
And he's a tremendous baseball fan. He loves the Dodgers. He's been in our clubhouse 3 or 4 times. He's a former baseball player. So I called the Secret Service and told him I was across the street. They said, we'll get right back to you. And 5 minutes later, there was a call to Rocco. Rocco Maselli said, send him up. And I went up and visited with him for about 20 minutes. I told him the story about the guy, the Pope, who came over here, and he got off the airplane and got out of the airport. And he said to the cab driver, he said, I want you to get me to this address in 15 minutes. And the guy said, hey, I can't do it. The traffic's too bad. He said, I'll give you $100. He said, I can't do it. It's impossible. I'll give you $200. He said, I can't do it. I can't drive that fast. The Pope said, look, I can. You get in the back, I'll drive. So he takes off, and he's going 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, and all of a sudden this police officer went after him with a motorbike, and he stopped him, and he looks in the window, and he sees the Pope. He said, oh, my God, and he runs back to the bike. He said, hey, Chief, you won't believe it. You won't believe who I just stopped for speeding. Unbelievable. He said, it's big, real big, Chief. He said, who is it, the President of the United States? Bigger than that. He said, is it Frank Sinatra? Bigger than that. Bigger than that. He said, well, who is it? He said, I don't know who it is, but he's got to be big. He's got the Pope driving him.
You told that to the president?
I told that to the president, yes. And he laughed, of course. I thought it was real funny. He said, good, now I have another story to tell. It's good to see you. I'm very, very proud and honored to be here with you and Len today because you're an outstanding football player, and we admire you a great deal. You're one of the best in your particular field, and we enjoy watching you.
Well, man, it speaks the truth. I like that.
You are the best.
So did you have fun with Darryl? All the New York fans want to know how it all went. And what'd you say to him to turn him on in the second half?
Darryl Strawberry, he missed, of course, a few games in the first half because he ran into the wall, he hurt his shoulder, and then when he tried to play, he couldn't get his hand up shoulder up to hit the high pitch, and consequently he had to go out for a while. But when he came back, I'm going to tell you something about Darryl Strawberry. And you know, I talked to you about him before he played for me. He's an outstanding young man. He has tremendous talent. He's awesome. And he's a very, very popular young ball player. I told him he could be one of the most popular players ever wear a Dodger uniform. Everybody, wherever I go, who's your favorite ball player? Darryl Strawberry. He can hit some of the most unbelievable home runs I've ever seen. He hit a home run in the Astrodome. I thought it was actually going to hit the roof, and it went out. I mean, this guy is very, very powerful. He's going to have a better year this coming year than he did this year. He hit 28 home runs and drove in 99 runs for us, and I think he's one of the best.
You know, I've always wondered about baseball, how, you know, I heard that you're real close to your players as a manager, you're very close to your players. And then I have to think sometimes how baseball players move around all the time. And it got to be kind of tough, you know, to see guys you get close to, and very next year they're playing for somebody else against you. Don't you think
That's part of the game, no question about it. More so today than ever before. I had an infield at one time that set an all-time major league record. They played together 8.5 years. You'll never see that ever happen again. But I understand that whatever success a manager or a coach of an athletic team, whatever success he achieves becomes a reality only because of the contributions of his players. I need those guys. That's why I hug them. That's why I'm close to them, because whatever they do, that reflects on me. And that's why I believe that you have to get close to your ball players.
Tommy, I know you're really in the celebrity mainstream in Los Angeles, and you know Roy Johnson, Magic's biographer, is going to be on in a little while. I mean, it really must have hit home, you being from Los Angeles, and the story that broke last week.
It was a shock, no question about it. It was a shock to everybody. Magic Johnson's a good friend of ours. He's always at the ballpark. He comes and visits me a lot. I remember when he first came from Michigan State to play with the Lakers. He's been a credit to the game of basketball, because when you talk about someone with enthusiasm and someone who loves his job, I mean, it was contagious wherever he went. And then to see him struck with this terrible disease, that's sad. And we just hope and pray that he will be able to beat it.
Tommy, what does the off season mean for you in terms of? I mean, it's one speaking engagement, it's one appearance after another. I mean, it's nonstop, isn't it? Your commercials, my goodness, you're a cottage industry.
Well, I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of charity speaking. I mean, I go around to a lot of colleges and high schools, Lynn, to help them with their baseball program, because of the fact that the baseball coaches, they don't receive the credit, they don't receive the money, they don't receive the things that the football coaches and the basketball coaches receive in colleges. And I guess that's right, because the other two are revenue-producing sports. So I go out and try to help them as much as I can. In fact, I talked to my wife the other day, and I've been gone quite a bit of time. And I said, hey, I have to go to New York, and they're going to honor me in Greenwich, which was last night. And she said, you're not going out and make another speech, are you, Tommy? I said, yes, honey, I have to go. She said, you know something? I finally realized, after being married to you for 41 years, that you love the Dodgers and baseball more than you love me. I said, yeah, but I love you more than I do football and basketball.
I have a tip for you. The next time you see the Pope driving a car, he's probably in the back seat. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you, Lenny. Thank you. Thank you. Good seeing you, buddy. Good luck.
Our next guest is a senior editor at Sports Illustrated magazine. He co-authored Magic Johnson's book titled Magic's Touch. And I trust you've seen the new Sports Illustrated and the touching story written in the first person along with our guest by Magic Johnson. Our guest is Roy Johnson, no relation, from Sports Illustrated. Roy? Roy, I think we were all touched in one way or another by Magic's story. I just can't imagine what must have gone through your mind.
Well, when I heard the news about 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, it was from his agent. I had heard that Irvin was retiring, and I called him. I said, is it true what I've heard? He said, what did you hear? I said, I heard that Magic was retiring. And he said, that's true. And I said, what's wrong with him? Well, the very last thing I expected to hear was that he was HIV positive, and it was as if the room just disappeared around me. It was a numbness that I had not felt in some time. Certainly, just the impact of it being Irvin Magic Johnson, certainly one of the premier players in professional basketball and all of sports, but being someone that I had worked with and developed a relationship with over the last 13 years, it was as if a family member had contracted the virus.
You know, there's so many things that can happen, I guess, being a professional athlete, so many different situations you can get into. And when I heard the thing about Magic retired, like I said, like you said, the last thing I thought about was AIDS. You know, you think, or AIDS virus. You think that's a disease that other people get, disease that homosexuals get, certain things like that. And I guess when it hits an athlete, a person you know, a person you respect, a guy that seems to have it all, I mean, it's very shocking, and it makes you examine your life pretty much. And I know as a ball player, and as a ball player who doesn't always walk the straight line.
Well, it's a difficult
It makes
thing.
me examine what's going on out here, and it makes a lot of people find out, ask the question, what's happening?
Yeah, there are a lot of people, and not just athletes, who are certainly questioning their own lifestyles and just the impact of this. Well, certainly it was shocking. I think a lot of us who have been around sports for a number of years kind of were waiting for this to happen, I think. There had been talk, especially among the AIDS community, doctors knowledgeable about the virus and the disease, that maybe sports was the next great scandal in terms of the virus and the disease. And I've been hearing talk like this for the last couple of years. Of course, no one suspected that it would touch a player of this magnitude, but perhaps there's some message in that. I mean, certainly with him coming out public and saying that he's going to be a spokesman for the virus and for safe sex has had an immeasurable impact. The hotlines, condom sales. He took what was a in-the-closet disease and dropped it on our living room tables.
You know, a euphemism for the AIDS virus, people say, well, it's like getting a death sentence. And I wonder how he walked out to that news conference with that Magic Johnson grin of his and faced the world and told them all what his problem was.
Well, that was the question that so many people had, was how does he continue to go public with such grace, with such dignity?
Oh, wow.
But the only answer that you can come up with was that he was really given the strength to do this. I mean, we've certainly known that he was very special in terms of his athletic abilities, plus with his personality. I mean, here's someone who took that athletic gift and made it into something that all athletes have benefited from, whether it's his entrepreneurial skills, his business savvy. So he was saying that maybe his whole athletic career was a preparation for something like this. Maybe it took 10 years of success and adulation to get the world on his side, so that when something like this occurred, the world listened. Everyone stood up. People who were not even sports fans know who Magic Johnson is, and they listen to what he has to say. And if there's any even small impact, perhaps there may not be a cure. May not be a cure soon enough to save Magic Johnson's life. But if people start practicing safe sex, if we start talking about the disease, and if it becomes an issue that is not a political issue, but a practical issue that everyone talks about, then certainly what he is doing now will be a major benefit.
What kind of effects do you think this will have on the NBA itself? You think it's, any repercussions, any downfall on the NBA?
Well, I can tell you quite frankly that there are probably a few hundred athletes who are quaking about this. Irvin talked about his own personal sex life in terms of living a bachelor's life and sleeping with many women, too numerous to even mention.
So does the story end with him getting the gold medal in Barcelona next summer and the national anthem playing? Is that how the Magic Johnson story concludes?
Well, I don't know if let's hope it doesn't conclude that way. I think that in the best of all worlds, he will be healthy enough to play on the United States Olympic team. It's the only individual honor that he has yet to achieve, and he was really looking forward to that.
Roy, thank you, and we appreciated reading your article, and appreciate you being with us.
Thanks.
Yes, it is. We're fortunate to have the Giants' main offensive weapon with us, Mr. Rodney Hampton. Hey. What's that? Hey, Rodney, so you gave the reins. The reins were given to you from O.J. Anderson to run the ball, and it seemed like you're having a great time doing it. How'd you feel when O.J. came to you and said, "Listen, it's your show, kid. Take it"?
Well, I felt good. O.J., he been a great teacher for me. He been teaching me the ropes since I've been here last year, so everything's starting to pay off. But the most important thing, offensive line. Without their help and open up the big holes, I probably have a negative 28 yards right now.
I look at Maurice Cawthorn. I notice how you run behind Maurice, and Maurice has been a cornerstone of that backfield for a lot of years. And I think a lot of people know how important it is to follow Maurice's blocks, because he can really knock out a lot of people.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Maurice, he's a great person, and also, he's I can say the leader of the offense. In terms of rushing, he the one started off for me. He opened up the holes and everything, and he blocked for the best. Herschel Walker and Joe Morris and Otis Anderson. So
It's a lot of good people.
I just hope that, I can follow in their footsteps.
Well, we have some clips of you with some very nice footsteps against Phoenix. You came out with the win. As we take a look at you rushing and also scoring the touchdown, do you feel the added pressure? Because really, when it comes right down to it, you're going to be running the football, and the other team knows it, and Giants fans know it, and does that put the extra burden on you?
Well, there's no pressure on me at all. I just go out and have fun,
Nice little, do you worry about those little somersaults getting hurt?
No, not really. While you're on the field, you just go out and have fun and worry about winning.
But you don't worry about that extra pressure or burden?
Well, not really, just go out and have fun. But the next morning you wake up, you be sore all over. I mean, after the games, the next morning I can't even walk, but
really,
I'll make it through the week.
Yeah, barely.
I don't see how this guy right here do it, he been playing.
I've been here a long time, I know how to pace myself, I know how to, 11 years, I figure out that I will take it easy on Tuesday, take it easy on Wednesday, take it easy on Thursday, take it easy on Friday. Hey, maybe a little bit easier on Saturday and then play on Sunday.
That's good.
He's
Got a
doing
great
well.
routine.
This guy's got it docked.
I was in the second grade, and he'd been doing this since I was in the second grade, I hope I can last that long.
Yeah,
So what, you call him Uncle Larry in the locker room?
Never Larry. Never Larry.
I understand.
Never Larry.
Let's show the other leading rusher on the team, at least last week. All of a sudden, this is a tremendous dimension. I mean, the cynics will say, and they do say, well, he doesn't pass it into the end zone, so he runs it into the end zone, but he certainly did a terrific job doing it last Sunday.
Some great moves here. Got a little bit of speed there. I'm telling you, I was impressed to see him run that long, that far, and not get tired.
Rodney, did you see this next play? Because one of the replays showed he might have stepped out of bounds as he headed towards the end zone.
No, I think he got in. He dove, and as long as you hit the cone, you're okay.
Do you feel the pressure to come up with a sack? Because now the commentators each week are talking about, well, when's the last LT sack and that kind of thing?
No.
Or shouldn't I have brought
Not
that
at all.
up? Oh,
Not at all. I have
all
no pressure on me. What I've done is already have been put in stone. I've already, my career's almost over. I've put my accolades and my awards up against anybody in the league. I've made my mark. It's time for other guys to make theirs.
Well, he has a shot at 1,000 yards, which would be pretty impressive, as you mentioned, missing those 2 weeks. So what do you think, Rodney? Is that a goal for you, or don't you like to jinx yourself?
What did I tell you today?
It's a goal, but, I just want to go out and win is the most important thing. I'm a team player, so, I want to win first, and as comes second, worry about my personal goal.
What did he tell you today?
I told him if he didn't show up on the show, he would have no chance.
That's the reason I'm here today.
Talk about pressure. Thank you, Rodney. Best of luck against Dallas. Okay.
This week's Mountain Dew moment, Jeff Hostetler's long touchdown run in Sunday's win against Phoenix.
LT's Place has been sponsored by Mountain Dew. Keep it cool with Dew. And by Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Well, in light of the Magic Johnson story, would you be in favor of AIDS testing mandatory by the leagues for all the athletes?
I think it's a good idea to have players tested for AIDS, but not by the league. The league, you got a problem with confidentiality. Who knows what would be said and all the problems that comes with that. I think each person should find their own doctor and test himself. And in light of what's happening, I like to say, Magic, we all love you here and we wish you the best.
Absolutely. Amen. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Wardrobe furnished by Beau Brummel. Transportation for guests provided by Teterboro Limousine. Courier service provided by Gardella Courier.